Srivastava, it's been, if I'm not mistaken, 2 to 3 decades since 498A came in. And when I say 498, I also mean Section 85 and 86 of BNS. Has that really helped in curbing genuine cases of domestic violence, genuine cases of cruelty, genuine cases of violence? Because, and I don't want to rely on anecdotal evidence, because we have all known people who have suffered due to matrimonial dispute. We have all known women who have suffered at the hands of domestic violence, at the hands of their partners, and have not had the courage or not had the societal backing to go forward. Because let's be honest, our society is still disgustingly patriarchal, no matter how much the laws may be based towards women. So have we reached a situation where the corrupt and the powerful can game the system and take advantage of it, whether it be men or women?
See, Ritangshu, your own statistics tell us that 51 crimes are committed against women every year in our country. So it is an undeniable fact that we need protective laws. It is undeniable that patriarchy is deep-rooted. But as a lawyer, I can also confirm that the misuse of 498A is prevalent. But this is where the nuance comes in, because what every panelist has said so far on the show, what emerges is that it is not the law which harasses the people. It is the machinery which is tasked with implementing that. In fact, the way the legal framework stands, even under the new law today, a preliminary inquiry by the police is mandatory before registration of an FIR in cases like this. So essentially, the police are the custodians. They must sift between the genuine cases and the fake ones. And they must ensure that the process does not become punishment for those involved. And the real question today is the police discharging this responsibility adequately? In 2014, and because we were talking about the Supreme Court, in 2014, the Supreme Court in Arnesh Kumar versus State of Bihar very vehemently answered this question in the negative. It came down heavily on the police forces for the insensitivity displayed by them in 498A cases, and the sort of inordinate arrests that they carry out. In fact, the Honorable Supreme Court also passed strict directives that a checklist and a compliance checklist be put in place by state governments to ensure that police does not abuse this process and that innocent people are not made victims of vengeance, etc. So I think the solution does not lie in scrapping the law altogether. It lies in ensuring compliance with guidelines already in place.
That's a fair point, because if I'm not mistaken, there was a few years ago a Supreme Court judgment which ensured that there was no automatic arrest after Section 498, which used to be the case, which led to a lot of abuse. Let me get in Nikhil Palli on that as well. Do you agree with that view which our panelist, Advocate Swapnil Srivastava said, Nikhil, that the problem lies in policing? Because there have been cases where people have gone to the police and the police say, "Hamare haath to bandhe hue, कानून सारे ladies की तरफ है." That is not really the case. Is the solution with better policing and more humane policing, who are not going to be influenced by whether the male party is powerful or the female party is powerful, and look at a case on merit? Are we asking for too much?
Well, firstly, on paper, we're not asking too much. That's the job of the police to register the complaint of any complainant or any victim who goes there. At the same time, I also am not. I don't turn a blind eye towards the ground realities. The fact of the matter is, this problem is a very deep-rooted problem, unfortunately, and it is not just applicable in laws which involve the two genders. It also a lot of similar complaints are also heard in many other crimes across the country. So I do agree with my panelists to the extent that there are laws that need to be, there are guidelines which need to be implemented better. But the fact of the matter is, the society in which we live today, the crazy society, for lack of a better word, when we live today, the man is, in my opinion, unfortunately, as well as the law was thought out to be, and I wanted to take care of the purpose of the woman. If I may just give a very small example, we all remember the poor Sikh fellow who was blamed all over social media, even by celebrities, just in Delhi a few years ago. What happened about that case? Everyone remembers the apparent alleged accused, and he was acquitted, right? To the best of knowledge, because for non-prosecution. What about his rights? And that's why I'm saying it is much more broader and much more complex than just having a 10-20 minute discussion. All parties involved need to sit together, and they need to understand that no one side is completely right. It's not a white and black here. There's a lot of gray in this.
Fair enough. So, since you mentioned the case, I believe that gentleman's name was Sarabjit Singh, who was accused by a woman of misbehavior, and that became a very infamous case as well. Deepika Bhardwaj, you wanted to make a point. I'll get you in with the question that at the end of the day, for every Sarabjit Singh, there are thousands and many more women who are nameless and faceless who receive much more than just cruelty in terms of genuine cases and of violence against women here. Are we looking at Section 498A as a necessary evil at a time when, even if you look at diluting 498, it sends out a very wrong message that we are actually not safeguarding women and going in the opposite direction?
Ridangshu, first of all, to the point of every law is misused, let me remind everyone that TADA was essentially scrapped because the law was misused. Of course, the argument was against a certain community. So there have been precedents where the laws have been struck down allegedly because of their misuse. Second thing, Ritangshu, we are in a country where we have just recently outraged everywhere in the country, everybody was demanding justice for women. We need to absolutely demand that justice for women, and there is no problem with that. But we as a country of 21st century need to admit this fact that women can be as vengeful, as criminal-minded, as manipulative, as lying as men, and they're very capable of taking advantage. Just this today's case of Karnataka High Court, this woman has gone on filing 10 cases. There are 2 extortion cases against her. No action has been taken against her. Why? Just imagine a case where a man would have abused 5 women, would have gone scot-free, finally landed up
so
at
very
the level
quickly,
of a
Deepika,
high
because
court.
so in a case like Karnataka, where do you believe the problem lies? Where does it lies with the impromptu?
So let me just finish.
No, Deepika, in the case of Karnataka, I'm just asking you.
Wait. Let me just finish.
Okay,
Let me just finish. The law needs to serve its purpose. 498A was diluted because of misuse. Now there are other criminal laws related to women which will have to be diluted. There are a lot of cases that are coming of rape law misuse. I shudder to think of the day where courts will have to say something similar for rape laws. The misuse needs to be punished as strictly as an actual perpetrator. It does not matter whether it's a woman
but
who has lied through a
isn't that a problem with improper implementation?
No, it is.
If any law is misused, then it's the problem with the people of misuse, not the law itself.
No, Ritangshu, it's also a problem with the mindset. And this is not what I'm saying. This is what authorities have said categorically in my documentary. Men who commit wrong to women should be strictly punished. And the law system need to ensure that. But if a woman is filing a false rape case, false gang rape case, or a false 498 case, or any false case, there needs to be a liability put up on the women as well. Why 498 has gone on to be misused for so long? It's 40 years, Ritangshu. The law was passed in 1983. Tell me even 40 women who have been punished for filing a false 498A. No, you will not find it. Why? They destroy lives. Today, the Karnataka High Court, an 82-year-old grandmother was implicated. Can you imagine her pain of being criminally charged at 82-year-old?
There is no denial of the fact right now, Deepika. There is no denying the fact that 498A, the abuse of it destroys lives. When we decided to do this debate today, there were several anecdotal cases which came out in this newsroom itself about people suffering due to its misuse.